Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day, and today I want to talk about attachments. Now, one of the biggest attachments we have is to time, to the past and to the future, neither of which actually exist. And if you have an attachment of something bad, okay, that's going to rule your life, okay? If you keep remembering the same bad thing over and over again, then you are stuck in time. You're trapped in time. Okay? And likewise, if you're constantly thinking about the future and what you're going to have in the future, then you're trapped in time also. Okay? And those are attachments. You're attached to something in time. Either something that happened or you think something that's going to happen. Okay? And therefore, you cannot be or enter into the now. You have to let the past go. Okay? Whatever happened, it's over, it's done. It doesn't exist. And you also have to let the future go because that doesn't exist either. Being attached to something in the future is just a sure way to put yourself up for some suffering. Okay? And yet we are all attached to something in the future. Okay? Whether it's the job that you're going to have or the school you're going to go to or whatever you're attached to, when that doesn't happen, we're taught to do the right things, and then the right things will happen for us after we do the right things. And we do the right things, and then you know what happens? We wind up working at a Burger King. Even though we have a college degree, does that make any sense? No. Trying to do something now that's going to influence what's going to happen in the future is having an attachment to the future. Anyway, so how do these attachments happen? Well, because that's who we are. We're human. Okay, and we attach things to our identity. Okay? And that is a fake identity that has been built around you. It's not who you are. And the easiest thing to get trapped in is something bad that happened to you. Whatever it was. But it was bad. Okay? And that just circles through your mind and sets up all sorts of bad things, like depression, sadness, jealousy, anger, embarrassment, all the different emotional reactions you can have to these things that happened. And if you continue holding on to those emotions and those reactions, you're going nowhere fast. I know it's hard to let go of things. I understand that completely. But in order to grow, okay, from when you were a little child, you had to let go of the playful, childish things. You didn't want to play with your Hot Wheels anymore. You let go, right? So you can let things go, and you need to let the past go. Okay? If you let it continue to make all your decisions for you, okay, then your life you're trapped, okay? And your ego, or your fake identity, likes that. It likes you being trapped. It likes you being depressed. It likes you being unhappy. Anyway. So how do we get out of this? How do we get away from it? By realizing that wasn't you. That wasn't you in that place at that time. It was somebody else. It wasn't you. Okay? Because you are a soul. pure, untouched, cannot be hurt, cannot be killed. Nothing bad can happen to a soul. Okay? So it didn't happen to you. You are a soul. You are not a person who had something happen in the past. You are a soul. And whatever happened in the past, it shouldn't affect you now. Okay? Obviously, it does affect you now, but it doesn't have to. So, time is an illusion. Okay? There is no such thing as time. There are only moments. We've chopped time up into hours and minutes and days and weeks and years. Okay? But none of that stuff actually exists. Okay? I mean, if you have to go to work and be there on a certain time, that's one thing. But if you let your life be ruled because of something that happened to you, then you are not living. Okay? I understand how hurt is. I understand how feelings of hurt are. But you need to let them go. So, maybe you're in college. And you're going to college to learn. So you can get a good job when you get out, right? And you are attached to that, ending or beginning, however you want to look at it. Okay? But that's not who you are. You are not a job or a title. Your soul. And I know that's a hard thing to believe, but if you do believe it, then you'll see how easy it becomes to let go of the things from the past and to stop hedging all your butts on the future. There's no way that the future is going to give you what you want, because that's not what it is. It's a challenge. We have what's called impermanence. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes. You go to school for computers, the next thing you know, there's something new out. Computers are old school, old news. Okay? Or you go to school for something else, and something else comes out. I mean, you could spend years going to veterinary school, medical school, or law school. And then AI comes along and does your job for you better. There's no way of knowing what's going to happen in the future. It's impermanent. We only have this moment. That's all there is of time that we can have. Because that's just the way it is. We remember all the other moments, yes. Okay? But they are not who we are. When someone asks you who you are, you say, oh, I'm such and such. I went to school at such and such. I work at such and such. That's what you say, right? But that's not who you are. And if you continue to believe, belief's a powerful thing, that you are a person, then you are going to be experiencing suffering. Because that's what happens to people, to persons. They experience suffering. So don't be trapped in time. The past is nothing. It's ash. It doesn't exist. It cannot possibly be affecting you in any way except through this, the brain. Okay? And that should be under your control, shouldn't it? I mean, one would assume that you'd want to have that brain under your control and not in the hands of somebody who just wants to make you feel bad. Right? And it uses the past. Okay? The fake identity uses the past to control you and trap you. And it also uses the future. And if you don't break out of that and start controlling your own life by awakening, then you're going to be doomed to repeat your old mistakes, because everything that's happened in the past affects what you do in the future when you're in that position, okay? And so everything that you do, you think has an effect on something that's going to happen in the future, but it's not, okay? When you are in that moment, okay, of being trapped in the past, you think you're in control. You think everything's going to turn out the way you want it to be, okay? But it's not, okay? This impermanence that we have is universal. It's everywhere. It's always. The only thing that's not changing about this world is you. And if we don't change, if we don't adapt, what happens? We die. That's right. We die. And why do we die? Because we didn't adapt. That's the law of evolution. Okay? And I don't want anyone to die. And I don't want anybody to feel bad because of something that may have happened in the past, when there's an easy way to get rid of it, that bad feeling. And that's accept who you are. Accept that you are not the person who went through that. Okay? We change. Our bodies change all the time. You think I started with this face? No. Okay? We don't recognize that fact because it's so slow. Okay? We're like a snail slowly crawling toward decrepitude. But we're getting there. And if you're sicked in on the future or the past, you're going to experience suffering. So let it go. Let go of the things that bring you down. Simple as that. All right, well, I guess I've said enough about that issue. I love you all because you're me. We are all one. And have a great life.